Welcome to the Growlers and Gremlins podcast, an alcoholic adventure in cryptids, paranormal, and the occult. Coming to you weekly from the heartland of America.
Welcome to Growlers and Gremlins. I'm your favorite host and theorist, John. With me, I have...
Jason, the analyst.
Kevin, the guy who doesn't give a shit, just like Brian.
And we have Jesse.
Jesse.
Just Jesse.
Yeah. So this week we have from Taxman Brewing, our beer of the week is Gold Standard. Which, of course, if you listen to this podcast, you understand Gold Standard. So this is a Belgian-style blonde ale. Give it a try.
Wow.
Oh.
That's like zero flavor.
Yeah, 20 IBU.
That's like...
The first thing I think of is like an ashtray.
Well, that's like...
It's like drinking an ashtray.
Memory
What
from
the
childhood.
It's like,
This
honestly...
reminds me of when my daddy burned me with cigarettes.
It's like, it's got even less flavor than a Michelob Ultra.
My mom was the smoker, not my dad.
And your mom listens to the podcast.
Yeah, she does.
And those were some awkward kisses.
No, I went to school and they had this like big anti-smoking PSA. And I'm like, oh my God, my mom's gonna die. So I came home and like guilted her into quitting in like one day. So I was, by the time I was school age, I'd already forced her to quit.
That's it. Every time I see one of those commercials about diabetes, I think, oh no, Kevin's gonna die.
That guy's dead.
I know.
Died of diabetes.
What was his name? Wilford Brimley?
Yes.
Yeah.
Diabetes.
And this will put a date on the podcast, but Darth Vader passed away recently too.
Yep. The physical character.
Yeah, because his voice was replaced by James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Who passed
But
away.
the guy that played the actual body of
Who was that? What was his name?
Who? James Earl Jones?
No.
the
Oh,
guy
he's
that
still
played
alive.
Vader. I don't know.
Wow.
David Prowse.
Okay, because we all remember James Earl Jones, and all he did was the voice. So
Because you never saw the face.
And then
so-
I actually heard that you said David Prowse.
Mhm.
He actually had no idea that his voice was going to be dubbed over till the movie was over.
Yep.
And then he watched the movie and he was like, what the fuck?
And he got double fucked because when they redid when they re-released the original trilogy, they put the actor that played Anakin in the prequels in his place. So he got double fucked by Star Wars.
But the Force Ghost wasn't even David Prowse, was it?
No.
No, so it wasn't even him.
so he got
at
triple
all.
fucked.
Yeah, triple fucked.
Like,
So the guy that's one job was to play the original Force Ghost of Anakin. He had that one job, gone.
Yep.
so,
Digitally replaced with the new Anakin.
like The Nightmare Before Christmas, Danny Elfman wrote all of the songs, and then he sang all the songs as Jack Skellington, and then went ahead and did the voice for him for the whole movie. And then after they watched the first cut, they're like, oh no, Danny, you just can't act. So they left him in as the singing voice, but had somebody else come in and do all of the actual dialogue.
Crazy. I didn't know that because I'm actually a huge Nightmare Before Christmas.
There's
fan.
a new documentary on Netflix about it.
Oh, really?
They did one on the making of Elf and another on the making of Nightmare Before Christmas. The one on Elf is actually way more interesting.
Then again, I'm actually considering ending my Netflix subscription
Me too.
because I got that
terrible.
notification that the price went up,
Yep.
and I'm paying for the 4K
They
subscription.
keep going up and up and putting out worse content.
Yeah. They the more they start making their own shit, it's like the worse it keeps getting.
I mean, hell, they did Cuties.
Yeah. I mean,
well, technically they didn't. They just bought the rights
Still,
to it.
they
but,
advertised
they
it
bought
enough.
the rights to it.
Right.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Kevin's favorite movie.
That's why Brian couldn't be here today.
Oh, yeah, I guess we haven't pointed that out in the last 2 episodes. But yeah, he's still not fucking here.
Yeah. But,
And you all know who I'm replacing. So it's a thing.
yeah. So what I want to talk about today, and it's a shame Brian's not here because this takes place in Russia. You know, we know how Brian loves Russia. I want to talk about the Tunguska Event. So, got a little article here that give you guys a little overview of this, and then I'll explain a little further what some of the crazies believe. But what was that?
I keep drinking the beer, forgetting that it tastes like shit.
I don't think it's that bad. Jesse's chugging his down.
I don't think it tastes like shit. It's just
Flavorless.
it's one of those beers that you could just sit here and slam because it's not like your palate gets tainted with nothing.
It doesn't really taste like much.
It's like a Sprite. You just fucking go after it.
Yeah.
But do we really trust John's evaluation? He did have the coof. Have you?
He had the coof too.
Yep.
Jesse also had
so
it.
the two people who had the coof think it's a good beer.
We actually had it at the same time.
Well, if you ask John, you can't listen to my advice on beer because I'm a big Budweiser fan.
And I would agree.
We're coof boys. Coof babies.
I love my buds.
But isn't that like December is the month that everyone's like, oh, this is going to be like all the coof babies.
Yeah, I have a new nephew. Born December 2nd. The coof baby. Okay, so about the Tunguska event. It produced a blast hundreds of times stronger than the Hiroshima bomb, was seen hundreds of kilometers away, and narrowly missed obliterating an entire city. But 111 years to the week after the mysterious explosion in Siberia, no one is any closer to understanding what caused it. Now, this was in 1908, so it's more than 111 years ago now, but from when the time this was written. Despite countless investigations, the so-called Tunguska event remains one of the 20th century's greatest enigmas, seized upon by mystics, UFO enthusiasts, and scientists as evidence of angry gods, extraterrestrial life, or the impending threat of a cosmic collision. But, says Stanislav Krivyakov, who has spent the past 35 years investigating the Siberian blast, despite intense interest in the event, which has featured in several episodes of The X-Files, no conclusive evidence has been found to support any theory. There are many people who build their hypotheses based on scanty information, he told CNN, but there are many aspects of the phenomenon that don't fit any standards or analogies. In everything about it, we find something complicated, problematic, vague. It's truly out of the ordinary. Deepening the mystery was the delay in a full investigation into the event, which occurred as Russia was entering the years of upheaval that surrounded the communist revolution. The first expedition to try to find the Tunguska meteorite did not take place until the late 1920s, when a crater was drained, resulting in the discovery of nothing more cosmic than an old tree stump. After World War II, searches resumed, but again proved fruitless. And even though the effects of the blast wave that destroyed 80 million trees are still visible today, meteoriticians, as some theorists are known, have found no point of impact to support their claim.
And somehow it was still caught on a Russian dash cam.
Anyway, up to this day, not a single fragment of the Tunguska phenomenon, no cosmic substance has been found. The main reason why there isn't any fundamental understanding of the phenomenon yet, said Boris Mushailov, a professor at the Sternberg Astronomical Institute in Moscow. Mushailov was one of the organizers of an international conference last week at the Russian Academy of Sciences devoted to the Tunguska event. He said he leans toward a comet theory, explaining that an object could have entered the Earth's atmosphere and burst into pieces up to 10 kilometers above the Tunguska River, causing the giant explosion, but scattering the object into smaller debris, most of which burned up. So-called alternativists, however, reject the meteor and comet theories because of the lack of any major crater fragments. Their search for more unlikely explanations has led to the site becoming a mecca for UFO enthusiasts, spawning a Tunguska meteorite museum and scores of photographs of what are claimed to be parts of extraterrestrial craft discovered in the area. As the debate rages on, many scientists say the Tunguska event could be a harbinger of a genuine scientific phenomenon that could spell disaster for life on Earth. You didn't hear it. You didn't hear it on the mic, probably, but Kevin just farted.
Oh,
So
I heard
it was really loud. But, if you hear it in the episode, I hope you do.
What did I tell you?
Well,
You don't
okay.
acknowledge things that I can edit out.
If his fart broke the noise gate, leave it in. and amplify it.
Is that the goal now?
You need to pinpoint that motherfucker.
Yeah, we're going to put that thing on a soundboard. Diabetes.
We're going to run it through some audio tune.
Diabetic blast.
I wanted to give you a little bit of sound effect for your story there.
Researchers looking at the trajectories of asteroids say that if a large meteorite breached the planet's atmosphere once, then there is no guarantee history won't repeat itself. The Earth, all along its evolution, has collided with various cosmic objects, from 1 millimeter to a kilometer in size. One measuring 10 to 100 meters causes a local catastrophe, and of course not a single method of protection exists so far. Scientists estimate if the Tunguska explosion had happened 4 hours later over St. Petersburg, the city would have ceased to exist, resulting in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people. As it was, the village of Vanavara, which at a distance of 70 kilometers was the closest settlement to the blast, survived. Ordinary Vanavarans say they wish scientists would stop searching for meteors and Martians and instead search for gas or oil that could bring much needed money to the area.
I mean, okay, priorities.
One of the reasons I was looking into that was because I saw this guy talking about his time going out there to investigate it. And he was talking about these circles in the ground that are like filled with water, that he says like there's a platform there under the water, a perfectly circular platform.
Mm-hmm.
They had to, conveniently, they had to leave the area before investigating it further because he was suffering symptoms of radiation poisoning, and yet no one else in his crew was. But he was, so they had to leave before they looked into it further. But he thinks that that this was like an ancient alien war that happened, and that at Tunguska there are these discs that are on the ground that are actually turrets that raise out of the ground and like shoot laser beams into the sky, and that there was either like some alien threat coming or a meteor, and these turrets raised up as a defense and like lasered them out of the sky, and then that like blasted everything. But
Russia has so many like interesting like lore and mythology. They had to create something new. Like again, it's like so like this could be Baba Yaga like footsteps, like the house walked through here. Like nah, they got to come up with aliens for some reason.
The weirdest thing about it is that everything about it looks like an impact of like a meteor or something, but there isn't a crater. There's just the destruction of like 80 million trees in this whole area just blown out. Like it was nuked or something, but there's no explanation for it. There's no debris. There's nothing left over. But some of the theories are that, like, you know, like they said in there was a meteorite that was broken apart and kind of exploded in the atmosphere before hitting the ground and then created that kind of like blast radius. But then some of the others are that back all the way in 1908, that Russia was testing nuclear weapons, that they were the first to figure it out, and that they were hiding it from the people.
Or it was just a distillery gone wrong that just blew the fuck up.
yeah, 80 kilometers or whatever around. Like it's a huge area, and
they require a lot of alcohol over there. It could have been a very large distillery.
But was there like evidence of a distillery or a building that was blown apart everywhere?
No,
like
there was nothing
everywhere?
there. It was just wilderness.
And
And then something happened. Like people saw like a light, people heard it, and this is all the way back in 1908. And then like they went out there, and everything was just like blown down, like a big explosion had happened.
Is there a focal point where like all the trees are all leaning?
Everything, is like leaning away from like a certain area,
a certain like pinpoint.
But there's no impact crater.
That is weird.
It's extremely weird.
Now I've watched Moonshiners, and those distilleries do not look like buildings. So I'm still it's a mud hut in the middle of the Russian.
But you know, you'll see.
But a mud hut in the middle
of
of
the earliest Russian meth lab. Do they do meth in Russia, or is that like a Midwest America specific thing?
That's just a Midwestern thing in America.
Well, most of our meth is produced in Mexico.
Well,
so I mean, you could guess that other people around the world do meth, not just
Everything
us.
is made in either China or Mexico.
Yeah, why do we make anymore? Depression and insanity?
Toyotas.
Vaccines.
Toyotas
We do.
and
We're
vaccines.
the world leader in vaccines.
That's all we make.
We're the only ones that got a vaccine.
No, remember
We make
this
some
episode is-
Subarus. We make Toyotas.
And vaccines.
We make overpriced goods.
You make me want to kill myself.
We make knives. We make good knives.
AR-15.
Yes, we do. We make a lot of weapons in America. Knives, guns.
The fuck
So
you
yeah, we
looking at me
make
for?
things. You're a weapon. We made in America.
That's true.
Yeah, my edges are so blunted.
You're just a weapon that was perfected in the Marines.
It has dulled in the years
Oh
since.
shit! I'm gonna pull my diabetes feet off and throw it at you.
Made a burnt out since then, but still.
When you lose your leg, you're gonna have them sharpen the stump.
Hey, what's that one movie? It's like, shit. The girl that's got like the prosthetic leg that's like a gun.
yeah, the gun legs. What was that movie?
Okay, that was
Like
double
Death
feature.
Wish.
Grindhouse.
Grindhouse was the double feature. It was Death Wish and fucking hell. What was the second movie in Grindhouse? I don't know. But did you see Grindhouse?
But it's not
in
Death
theaters?
Wish. It's
No.
it's that one.
No,
that,
it's not Death Wish.
Yeah.
But did you see that in theaters at all?
No.
I managed to catch it in theaters, and they have the funniest fucking commercials in between the two movies. That I was hoping they would actually make a movie out of this.
Like make a box set and do it
Planet
with
Terror. It was Planet Terror.
Planet of Terror. Okay.
Yeah.
But there's a commercial in between the two movies of a Thanksgiving horror movie that is fucking hilarious, and I wish they would have made
There are
it.
plenty of them. Maybe they did make it and you didn't catch it.
Maybe
There's one about like a turkey.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. There's another one that Hulu made
Hmm.
that isn't very good.
I mean,
Well,
Machete came out of that too,
Yeah,
because that was one of the commercials in Grindhouse.
that was fun. It was a combination of the Grindhouse universe and the Spy Kids universe.
Is it really related to Spy Kids?
Yes.
I thought the only relation was that Danny Trejo's in both. I didn't know that it was actually part of
In
the story.
Spy Kids, Danny Trejo, their uncle Machete.
You realize how long ago it's been since I watched that?
Yeah, like
Man.
when Machete came
I
out,
did
I was like,
not
wait a
make the
minute, is this a
connections.
Spy Kids movie? Because that character is sort of in Spy Kids.
I guess if you look at the filming of it too, it's oddly similar.
Yeah.
Everything is Spy Kids.
You know, and we do have a movie star
Everything.
with us today. Kevin, from his role in Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yeah, he does kind of look like a hobo.
Brilliant movie.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna kill you when this fucking recording's over.
Yeah, do it during the recording. Maybe we'll get more hits.
Jason, you've started.
If this was only like a live recording, then it would be like,
We got to start our Twitch channel, so people can see us sitting in this tiny room around this tiny table.
that's how you do it these days.
I'll take my shirt off, show some tits.
Yes. Yes.
I think we will probably eventually make this a video podcast. Why not? But we'll just have to be so careful.
Well, that's what all the kids are
Because
into.
if we live stream this, we can't cut a lot of stuff out.
We'll just have to put a button on the soundboard for bleeping people.
The Brian said the N-word button.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to say that.
It already takes me so long to edit these. Please don't add any extra work.
No.
I like how every time I say retard, your eyes flip over to me.
Because I have to
Son
sit
of a
there like,
bitch.
will I have to edit this? Yeah, fuck it.
The idea of all that, though, with the Tunguska event is it's like, who knows? It could have been aliens or something, but like, if it was just a big old
Aliens.
meteor, it just makes me think about the movie Greenland. Any of you guys see Greenland?
No.
Nope.
The new movie with Gerard Butler, Amazon Prime.
Well, I mean, sure, it's awesome.
But it may not have been released yet on Amazon Prime, honestly.
Well, remember, this episode doesn't come out till January.
Yeah,
so.
the movie was made in like last year, though, but then Amazon bought the rights and they're doing the first official release. But
But yours
It's a
has
Gerard Butler movie.
Chinese subtitles.
Well, no, like there's this comet that's going to pass by, and it's going to be the closest to comets ever come, or an asteroid or whatever. And so everyone's excited to watch this event, but like then Gerard Butler is like with his family and they're having a cookout, and he gets a presidential alert to his phone, his TV, everything, that like he's been selected for shelter, him and his family, and they need to go to this military base for transport and all this. And like this comes out while he's having a cookout, and everyone else at the cookout is like, why is only your phone going off? Why is only your phone going off? Because they find out that this meteor, the trajectory was wrong and it broke apart, and it's going to kill everybody basically. And like its impacts coming like all around the country. So like it's first going to pass by and they're all watching on the news, and then a piece breaks off and just destroys Florida.
Yeah,
like
nothing really lost there.
it's like an existential crisis. Like though in the movie it is so good. Like there's a few plot holes here and there, but it is a movie that like I was like, yeah, I'll watch this. Gerard Butler's in it, and I was just hooked in immediately because it was so terrifying. Like the whole idea of it, the situation where like a certain family by lottery was selected for shelter, and they're like leaving, and all of the families and are like chasing them down in the street, like take my kid, please, and they're like, we can't, you know, because they'll reject them, and it was just horrible.
Isn't this the plot of Deep Impact?
I don't know. I've never seen Deep Impact, but this movie, man, it's an emotional roller coaster. Like it is.
It almost sounded like when you started it, it was like a remake of Night of the Comet from 1984.
I haven't seen that.
That's
But
a good one.
it's like it's.
You actually seen
super
it?
good.
Yeah.
You guys got to watch it.
Or not.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
will. You'll watch Greenland. It's so good. And I don't know, it was just good to make a disaster movie that was actually
Then I
like,
guess you need to make me like a list of 5 books that I need to read and a list of like 5 movies that I need to watch.
yes. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because like you are such an uncultured peasant.
And you have so much free time now. That
Right.
you might
So
as well.
much free
I've
time
got
now.
so much free time, and I feel like I need to brush up on my shit every time I come around you.
No, but for real though, like Greenland, that movie is solid. It is so good, and it made me absolutely terrified of meteors.
Well, what was that movie you were showing me? Something bird, I think.
Oh, I think it's called Hummingbird, maybe? Michael Bay, about COVID-23.
Yeah,
Yeah, that looks crazy.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
That looks good. Like, I think they're a little bit off on their year count when they're like COVID-23 implies that the movie takes place in 2023. Come on, 2021. Like, we're not that far off from that situation in that
There's
movie.
like temperature sensors to enter and
Yeah.
leave buildings. There's secret
You
police
have to
that come and remove people that
you
have
have
been
to do
found to
it.
be infected.
You have to do a thermal scan on yourself with your phone every day, and if you get a fever, they send armed guards to your house to take you to the quarantine camps. I see that as a realistic scenario for 2021.
Well, me too.
It may be crazy.
I'm glad we have optimism that 2021 will be better than 2020.
I don't know what that,
sure we do.
after 2020, I don't know what actually is crazy anymore.
Yeah. I mean, everything like...
Everything I thought was crazy, well, it fucking
yeah,
happened.
a
So
lot
it's,
of
I guess
things-
it's not that crazy.
There were a lot of conspiracy theories come true in 2020.
And so it's just
like
like-
the whole world is like everything is in question now.
So what's crazy anymore?
I kind of miss when the craziest thing was they're going to raid Area 51.
yeah,
Like that
was early.
fun.
That was a distraction.
that was fun. But like, yeah, I think we've blown that idea out of the water that like the government's been cooperating with aliens, that whole conspiracy. I just don't think there's anything to it because, I mean, come on. If anyone was going to tell us,
It's a distraction.
it would be the toilet tweeting Trump. Like, come on. Like, if anyone was going to tell the populace about aliens, it'd be him.
Plus, like, one person can keep a secret. 2 people, maybe.
Yeah.
You get any further, and there is no secret anymore.
Yeah, we would know about aliens if that was going on with the government.
Especially with
stuff.
like, when have we been? Oh, like when was the first time we got crazy over aliens? Like 40s,
1947.
right? And it's been how long now? I just don't feel like doing math. And,
No shit.
And we're still just like in question about it. Like if it
At
was
some point-
real, if it really was real, we would know.
At some point, somebody would have like been like infiltrated it and been like, "Yeah, I work here. Here it is."
There's
and
always
like Snapchatted it or Facebook Live.
there's always one whistleblower.
Yeah.
Bob Lazar.
But again,
Bob Lazar.
there's been supposed whistleblowers over the years.
And the military and the government discredit them, which may be a strategy.
Right.
Like Bob Lazar. There was no reason for Bob Lazar to have made all this up, and he was a pretty credible guy until the government decided to completely discredit him and make him out to be some kind of
But
crazy
there's just
guy.
enough people that when the government discredits someone, they're like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah, everybody just goes with it.
all right."
Like,
Then. Well, the government said that it's not true, so I mean,
it's pretty likely that Epstein did kill himself. I don't think that's even a conspiracy. Is there anyone in this world that believes that Epstein killed himself? That's not even a political issue. Like, nobody believes that guy killed himself, and it's just gone. Like, we don't talk about it anymore. That's the problem now, is everything is so short attention span.
well,
we don't get investigations.
I know you
we
don't want to make
get...
this a political podcast.
That's not a political issue. Like,
what about the laptop that was everyone was talking about?
Now we're going real political
Yeah.
there.
Where the
Like, I
fuck
brought
did
up
that go?
Epstein because that's apolitical, because like everybody
Right.
believes that dude was murdered. The political differences are on who ordered the kill,
Right.
but nobody thinks that guy killed himself. Everyone's happy he's dead because he was a horrible person,
like no one gives a fuck.
but nobody believes he killed himself.
Right.
I'm not happy that he's dead. It was my trip for the coming up for the
That was your
island.
annual trip.
I was on the flight list. I was ready to go.
Oh shit!
Yeah. I was
Damn
getting ready
it.
to make my first trip.
I need to get the soul of a
First, you mean
14-year-old.
50th.
But no, I mean, the nothing matters anymore. There is no criminal justice system because it's all about what's big. What are people going to click on? What are people going to read right now? How can we sway opinion quickly? So things like the Hunter Biden laptop, they dropped out of the news immediately, even though there are things there that definitely should be investigated, just like the Epstein killing himself. It doesn't matter because it's not relevant now because that was used for election reasons.
Right.
And, if they had brought it up at any other time other than an election time, it probably would have been investigated at least a little bit.
I don't know.
But it's hard because there's bias in our intelligence agencies
it all
because they are
depends
made up
on-
of humans who all have bias.
I mean, as far as like staying in the public eye, because of the 24-hour news cycle,
Yeah.
they are
Short attention
desperate
span.
for, like, they will run a story, see the metrics as to whether or not that pulls people in. If it doesn't, they have to move to the next thing right away.
Mhm.
They have to keep eyes on the station.
And that's the thing. The whole thing about the laptop thing wasn't even the story itself. It was the fact that the media came together to bury it
Well, it's like
for political reasons, and that exposed bias in the media. And I think that was probably the whole purpose of it. Yeah.
Like, who's got what to lose? Therefore, like, if certain people have a certain, their life to lose over it, then they're gonna just no.
Yeah, and at this point, nobody even knows if Hunter Biden's alive. He hasn't been seen publicly in over a year. And there's a theory going around on 4chan.
You say that now.
There's a theory going around on 4chan that he actually died of an overdose earlier this year.
But no, watch you say that now. Because what is this?
We will know. We will know in January, because if Biden gets inaugurated, if your dad gets inaugurated as president, you attend, no matter what is going on in your life. So we will know if Hunter Biden's alive.
So we'll know whether or not we have to re-record this episode.
We'll know if Hunter Biden's alive if Joe Biden gets inaugurated, and that's an if.
Because this
just got political, but sorry.
I mean, we're kind of going down that rabbit hole.
If you haven't sussed it out by now.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Whatever,
this is being
who cares?
recorded December 6th and is slated to come out.
Oh, I didn't even think about the time lag. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It'll be like a little time capsule here, because we'll probably
this
know
will
a lot.
come out January 6th.
And we're probably going to know a lot more next week because of December 8th, the safe harbor deadline.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this totally turned into a political episode, but like next week, things are going to start
Because
going.
no one gave a shit about Tuskegee.
Well, you're right. No one gives a shit about Tuskegee or Tunguska.
Oh, fuck it.
But no, like,
What the fuck is Tuskegee? Is that anything? Or did I just fuck that word all to hell?
Those were the Black Army Airmen.
the Red
Oh.
Tails.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oops.
Maybe the ones that got was given syphilis.
Oh, never mind. I didn't need to say
never
that.
told. Yeah, you don't give a shit about the black man, motherfucker.
No,
God
really
damn it.
though. We're in a time that's probably going to be one of the most interesting times in all of American history this next week, because we have a case going before the Supreme Court that has a deadline of December 9th when the safe harbor deadline is December 8th, and we're going to see how that plays out. How is the law worded on that deadline? Like, could the Supreme Court flip something after September 8th? Well, who knows? I mean, because this is just crazy. This is the weirdest election that there's ever been in this country.
Right.
But it's definitely going down in the books for sure.
Yeah.
I don't even know
no
what
doubt
the
about
title
Well,
is.
what the fight is for right now is which way will it go down in the books?
Or, well, right. Yeah.
Because there are a few ways this could go down in the books. You know, and it's like, who knows? Who knows how it'll be written in the future? Is it that, you know, that Biden won free and fair and then Trump tried to pull a coup and like take over the country? Or is it that Biden won with a ton of fraud and Trump rightfully tried to take it back? Who knows? Like, we'll find out. Maybe. It just all depends on all these investigations.
Maybe.
That's what the thing is. Like, we have to have these investigations. And the scary thing is that there's people fighting against that they don't want to figure out what happened. Like, why would you not want to know? Even if you won, why would you not want to know?
Because they feel that it's necessary to
Yeah.
cheat. The cheating is
crazy.
necessary to get Trump out.
It's crazy.
But on another note, because this is not a political podcast,
This episode is, I guess.
we're going off on a tangent on this one.
Yeah, how did we even get here?
We were talking about...
Oh, I said the laptop.
Yeah, you said Hunter Biden laptop.
Well, no,
I brought up the non-controversial Epstein didn't kill
Epstein.
himself. So the Tunguska event is very interesting. Because-
Everybody who survived it got syphilis.
Well, there was nobody there.
Right.
But like, what happened?
And
What
there's
would
no
cause this?
there's no debris,
No, there's nothing.
nothing
They-
but just trees down.
And that's the thing is that like every major theory that they've come up with, they investigate it further and then find flaws where they're like, okay, we think it's this, but oh wait, because of this, it can't be this. Or okay, maybe it's this. Oh no, because of this, it can't be this. It's completely unexplained. They have no idea what happened there. It's like magic.
It's like, and there's a focal point to the radius.
Sort of, yeah.
So it's like,
It was 2020 reaching back to 1908 to get some extra Biden's votes.
Oh,
oh man,
I think you're a little off on the date there. It was January 1st, 1900.
Whatever.
either way.
They missed by a few years.
That's okay. They weren't alive anyway.
okay. So,
I've never seen you speechless before.
Well, because we always say this podcast won't go political because we don't want to get canceled. But then this episode has gone like totally politics and not like normal politics, like fringe politics. Like, we're talking about.
I don't know. I
think
mean,
we're skirting the Alex Jones territory.
No, because like a lot of the stuff that used to be fringe theories and stuff has actually come to the forefront. Is like, wait a minute, this is real. Like a lot of things.
but I don't think we've said anything that like any other political podcast hadn't already said. So it's not like,
yeah,
Yeah,
but-
we've just alienated the lefty audience that we probably wouldn't have picked up anyway.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I mean,
I mean,
I
we've been
mean,
fairly inoffensive
Well,
so
no, that's
far.
the thing is that we're not we don't dislike these people.
All right.
Just disagree with them on some things. So I mean, if you have different views than us, that's fine, and we respect that.
Go
But
fuck yourself.
Kevin does not speak for the podcast.
but like, you know, that's not the intention of this podcast. It's just to talk about weird stuff. It just kind of goes off the rails a bit.
Yeah,
Bit.
has this podcast ever had rails?
If you can't listen to a differing opinion from your own, I can't help you. You know?
right. It's, at that point, it's really not like our problem.
No, because I mean, there's nothing wrong with ideas. You know, that's what this country's built on.
All
Free
right,
speech.
Shut up, you fucking Trump supporters.
Let's stand up. let's do this podcast on our feet.
Get that American flag.
I mean,
waving.
it's the same.
Someone has to find Kevin's foot
It's the
first.
same thing. I mean, it's the same thing as me saying "fuck you" for liking skating over BMX. I mean, it's the same fucking concept.
That's fine. We disagree on it, but who cares?
Right.
Yes, because the skateboarders run the
country.
economy. Yeah. So
Hey, at one point, us extreme sports guys, we ran this bitch. It was a very short period.
we talked about this before.
Yeah, we did. We talked
Where
about
it was
it on
like,
the podcast where
for
like
some
extreme
fucking-
sports used to be huge.
Yeah, it was like Tony Hawk and all this, like, Matt
X
Hoffman
Games
and like Matt
like-
Hoffman, right? I got it right.
Yeah,
Okay,
BMX.
cool.
Okay.
I don't fucking know. It's like, what replaced that? And we're like, what did replace that? What is like the popular thing
And then
now?
you said Twitch streamers, to which I have great issue with.
I don't think I'm wrong though. Maybe not Twitch, but social media influencers. Jake Paul, like
What's a Jake Paul?
he was a Vine guy, like he did videos on Vine, and he went over to YouTube and just went through and created. Which Paul brother? One of the Paul brothers,
Logan.
There we go. Went to the suicide forest in Japan
Oh, I saw that video.
and posed with a body he found.
Sounds like a douche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what children like worship these days. They wear their merch. They, all,
Like, I mean, I'm all for posing.
Logang
I'm
or-
all for posing with dead bodies,
No shit.
but not for children.
right. Oh, children, like high
Yeah,
school.
I mean,
he was-
what adult
He was
is
an
watching?
he was an adolescent icon.
Yeah, and what adult is watching them? So he's marketing towards children because
Right.
like adults think he's an
Yeah,
idiot.
he has
Yeah.
a fucking rap song about begging your parents to buy his merch.
That is gross. He probably also has a song about begging your parents not to press charges.
But I'm saying
Disgusting.
that's like as for like when we were like into like Tony Hawk Pro Skater or and stuff like that. That's the age group now that is watching social media influencers instead.
I think that children now are probably watching porn more than they're watching social media influencers,
Well,
and that's a
because-
horrible thing.
That's because they're
Hentai.
That's a horrible thing about
They're
our
all
society.
into hentai now. It's all about cartoon porn.
Well, there's a problem. Is that the problem
Brian?
with that industry and probably with the internet entirely is that there used to be a chain of custody with porn. You would go somewhere to buy it, and you would get ID'd. Back in Kevin's day when it was a magazine or a VHS.
Kevin's day. It was like
And
a
you
millimeter.
would
It was like
literally
a
check your
ring
ID.
you set over a candle and spun it. And the
Now,
girl danced.
a 7-year-old gets on the internet and it says, "Are you 18? Yes or no?"
And that's good enough.
Like, come on, there's got to be something they can do. Like I've been to sites for like
It's just a disclaimer now.
like different like alcoholic beverage manufacturers that actually make you enter your driver's license number for an age verification before you can access certain parts of the site
Really, I've never seen
for
that.
purchasing and things.
Like when I was looking up Taxman, they're like,
So
"Are
it's
you
like-
21?" Yeah. Okay.
Why can't you do something like that with porn? Like keep kids out of porn. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, that statement got really gross.
All right.
Keep kids out of porn. That is a valid statement, but what I meant by it is that kids shouldn't be watching it. But definitely they also
Like,
should
just
not be in it.
The accessibility of it shouldn't be.
It should not be so easy to
I don't know. With
access.
those statements, I thought you were about to sell me a Subway footlong. So
Yes. Gross. Oh no. And I had Subway 4 out of the last 7 days. But they
are
did
you-
fire him.
Yeah.
It's not Subway's fault that Jared's a creep.
All right.
By the way, it was a different Jared we were going to have as a guest.
Yeah,
No,
this one
no,
was
it wasn't.
Jared Foglay.
One correction: it wasn't Jake Paul that did the Japanese.
No, it was
suicide.
Logan
yeah,
Paul.
it was
Logan
Logan Paul.
Jake Paul
Jake Paul's just his little brother that kind of piggybacked off of Logan.
and he just knocked the fuck out of some athlete. He just did the
Like some
the boxing-
some celebrity boxing bullshit.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was.
I've just been seeing memes of the guy, and I don't know who he is. It was some NBA player or something that's like retired, and he.
the fight. You're talking about?
Yeah, there was a picture of him
he's
like
like-
laying down with some turkey bones, and it said Thanksgiving
Nate
leftovers.
Robinson.
Mhm. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
He they're like, oh, I'm an athlete, and I can just I can whoop this guy's ass.
Wouldn't
But he
it, be,
didn't know how to fight. He's just a good athlete.
wouldn't it be fun if
Jake
like
Paul actually has training fighting and knocked him on his fucking ass.
when we talk about current events on the podcast, by the time the episode comes out, they're not exactly current because of the short attention span. So, like, what if we did talk about current events, but we just made them up and just check to see later if we were right when the episode comes out?
That's the thing. Like, the first episode we recorded today, it's going to come out in like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
This one is going to come out a month after we recorded it.
Well, no, the next one will.
No, this one.
No, we're on episode 3 of tonight.
Right.
So we got one more. That'll be a month away. Oh, wait. No, yeah, that'll be a month and a week away because we still have an episode coming out this week that we recorded last month.
Right. So we're recording this December 6th. It will come out January
That's why
6th.
I thought like December was already done.
No.
No.
He got the last I got the last December episode.
Oh yeah, you guys were talking about Christmas.
Yeah. And this Christmas
Who knows what the fuck
Will
January's
be.
gonna bring?
a very special Christmas for me. Nobody got
Did
that?
you just stroke? What the fuck happened?
Nobody got that? That
No.
stupid song?
Went right over my head.
We love these moments where he cracks himself up and we're just staring at him like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Sometimes, for me, it's not the joke that's funny. It's that you guys didn't get it and it just fell flat. It makes me laugh. Like, I get pleasure out of my own failure.
At least somebody's pleasured by your failure.
Yeah.
Usually it's your wife.
There's no pleasure there. What the fuck do we do with the rest of this episode?
How much time we got left?
Well,
We really ran it right into the fucking ground.
So now we talk about Tuskegee Airmen.
Okay, I said Tuskegee Airmen were the syphilis experiment. They were one of the best. The Tuskegee Airmen were one of the best pilot groups in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Had all these white pilots wanting them to escort them on their bombing runs.
Yeah, I saw the movie Red Tails.
Yeah, but the Tuskegee experiment was also at that same base. Just black soldiers given syphilis, and they just watched them. They never told them they had it. They spread it to their wives and children.
That's horrible.
That's what you do to soldiers. You experiment on them.
I don't even know where I heard
And you
the
don't
word
tell
Tuskegee.
them.
I just
Yeah, you don't tell them.
you don't tell them. You just let them go about their day, and you just watch them
You
crumble
knows
their
what you
entire
guys have
family.
lurking inside you.
You should.
Diabetes, HIV.
I've had a lot of shots that I don't have the paperwork for. So
Jesse has genital warts.
See,
Let the record show.
I was never afraid of COVID because if the virus I got
damn
from
it,
those two
John!
hookers and
I'm single now. You can't say that shit.
That's what I feel about, like, though, with like COVID. It's like, since I already had it, and studies are showing that the immunity could last for years and stuff. I'm like, do I really got to do all this stuff now?
We need
'Cause,
to
like,
look into selling antibodies.
I'm good now. I don't think there's really much of a market for that now with vaccines kind of already coming.
well, how many? That's not to get like current eventsy, but there's how many people are afraid to take the vaccine because it was rushed.
A lot. No, it's not because it was rushed.
Well, that's
my opinion. Like, that's not why I wouldn't take it.
That's the headlines, though. Is that it was rushed and people are afraid of taking it. But
I've got a friend she's a real big anti-vaxxer because she blames the fact that she's got 2 kids with developmental disabilities on the vaccines, not her fucked up genetics.
yeah,
No.
Well, it's it's just never your fault. Doesn't matter what it is.
No,
It's never your fault.
she should have
that's
learned from the
modern
first one.
society in a nutshell.
My reason.
Never your fault.
Right.
My reason.
And you
for-
always win.
Yeah.
It's all about the participation award.
Well, it's like he was talking about, are you 18 or older to enter a porn site? That used to be enough because a parent was watching you use the computer.
Or people were honest.
Right.
But my main thing about, like, the COVID vaccine has nothing to do with the fact that it was rushed. It's that it's an RNA vaccine, which has never been done before. We don't know the long-term effects of a vaccine like that because we've never had one before.
Don't sow doubt. We'll get canceled all out of luck.
I'm not sowing doubt. I'm just saying that, like, I'm going to wait until a whole lot of people get it, and then I won't get it.
I mean, it's much like
Because I don't even get flu shots.
it's-
I
it's
don't
like-
care.
the only time I ever got flu shots was when the army was like, "Hey, roll your sleeve up," and I was like, "Well, okay."
See, I just wouldn't, because it's like, why would I go get a vaccine for something I already had?
Right.
Right. Well,
But now, just because you had it doesn't mean you're immune to it. That's what say like you have to be tested for antibodies.
Well,
because just because you had it doesn't mean you have the antibodies.
Studies have shown that out of, we're at 63 million worldwide cases as of this date, only 25 people have gotten it again.
25
people out of 63 million.
I mean, my mom, I think she could probably rattle off like 3 people then
that have confirmed to have gotten it twice.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait till you get it again.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, but that's kind of like with anything, any kind of illness. I mean, you could develop an immunity to, like, you can have it and get over it.
Yeah,
but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're like never going to get it again.
No, but I mean, there's a chance that you will be more
you don't have like the immunity
in the future.
Yeah,
and
the likelihood of you getting it again is extremely low.
I got it full blown because I had no immunity because I hadn't had it yet, and it just, for me, it wasn't that bad. So I'm like, if I get it again, whatever, I don't care. Allegedly,
the COVID strand has already broken off like 2-3 times.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And so like people are getting a different strand of it or some shit.
I got the good one.
I got the good one too. Little fever, little headache, little quarantine, watching Marvel Universe.
Hey, this episode was about a Russian incident, so if we've moved into Russian misinformation, that's fine.
Oh, jeez. Well,
and on that disappointing note,
this was like an episode for Brian.
It was a Brian episode.
This is as prepared as Brian would ever have been.
It's way more than he ever would have been. But, you know, we're roughing it through these
Brian
guys.
really missed his time to shine on this one.
I'm sorry I used gendered language when addressing everyone. Have fun, everybody.